Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
It's in our blood, it's in our bones, orange and brown, yeah, we ride for our own like a dog pack running. We ain't alone, game day comes, get ready for the show. It's our call, it's our bark, it's our song. We stand tall, yeah, we've been here all along. Through it all, the dog pound standing strong. We all dogs, yeah, we all dogs. Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reniker, Justin Charles, Kenny Mack, and Josh Hall. We all dogs!
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Coming to you live tonight to discuss arguably one of the biggest trades. It's one of the bigger trades in NFL history, if we're being honest. Definitely one of the biggest trades in Browns history. It's kind of crazy to think, though, that it's maybe the second biggest trade in Browns history in the last 5 years, just because of the Deshaun debacle and everything we gave up for that. So, but obviously a big trade for the Cleveland Browns today as Myles Garrett heads to the LA Rams to, hopefully maybe chase a ring, and the Browns bring over a slew of picks and Jared Verse. We're going to get into all of our thoughts about it, break it down for you. Plus, we have a bunch of voicemails from you guys to get to, and I'm sure the chat is going to be live for this one. So buckle up. Let's get strapped in, see what everybody thinks. And let's just break it down. Before we do, though, remember, if you want to get voicemails on the show like all these people here did tonight, it's thedogspodcast.com. Just tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we're putting out. If you're you can listen to the show on Apple and Spotify. And if you want more Dogs content, head to jointhedogs.com. Become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page. Get access to the private Discord. Play fantasy football with us. Just have a good time, 24/7, 365 with Browns fans. Like when the news dropped today, just nonstop. I mean, it's pretty much nonstop in there all the time anyways, in some kind of topic. But when something big Browns happens, or on game day, the Discord is where you want to be. Because if you guys are anything like us, every time the Browns run a play, I want to tell somebody about my thought on that play, and that's what the Discord is. It's just the game days are awesome in there. So that's jointhedogs.com if you want to become an official Dog Pack member. So let's just dive right into it here. I know I have some thoughts. I'm sure you guys do. I don't get to do as many episodes, so I'm just going to give mine real quick because I've been itching, and I miss doing episodes. So I think I see somebody in here. I don't know about y'all, but I'm pissed. I'm sad. I don't know if I'll get over it. All this stuff. I think two things can be true at the same time. I think we can be sad that Myles Garrett isn't on the Browns anymore because we all loved Myles Garrett and having him on our team, and it's nice having a superstar on your team, a face of the league guy on your team, a 2-time defensive player of the year. I'm just gonna miss having Myles Garrett and what he meant to the Browns being on the Cleveland Browns. In the same breath, the Browns did well in the trade, at least in my opinion. I think both things can be true at the same time. I know there's a lot of people who are like, we should have got 16 first-round picks plus, all these players. We should have got Jared Verse, his cousin, his brother, plus 6 first-round picks. And I'm like, guys, this isn't Madden, okay? And they're like, well, we could have got so much more. Myles had a no-trade clause. So people are mad that the Rams' first-round pick is, most likely going to be in the low 20s. And it's like, well, we weren't going to be able to trade Myles to a dumpster fire that was going to give us a top 10 pick or a top 5 pick. He had a no trade clause. Only a couple of teams were going to be suitors for Myles Garrett. You were looking for a very like niche market to give up a ton of assets and a player for a guy who's on the other side of 30, which, you know, is a very limited market. So I think the Browns did really well. I think some people do not know how good Jared Verse is.
Thank you. We need to talk about that.
You know, so to people that are mad, we only got one first. No, we basically got 2 first round picks. I would much rather have the proven player than an unknown commodity in a second draft pick. And
Yes.
the Browns felt the same way. We heard that the Rams didn't want to include Verse, and that was their sticking point. Like, no, we need the player. Like, if you're going to take a player, we got to be able to replace a player with a proven commodity, a guy who we know who can play football. And now the Browns have the last 2 defensive rookie of the years on their roster. So, and just then looking even broader scope for what it means for the roster, I think Andrew Berry has done a tremendous job in taking this roster and turning it over in a very short amount of time. Like, I know last season was painful, you know, only getting 5 wins, but we have gone from a team that was kind of like we used to talk about on the show all the time. We were in our window. You know, we had Baker, Jarvis, Odell, Chubb. We had a top 5 line. Like, we were in our window, and then we broke it when we traded for Deshaun, and he ended up not being able to play football and not being able to stay healthy, all that good stuff, suspended, everything that went into that. But once we were essentially out of that, he didn't stay married to that. We went from an old team that was on the decline, and we are maybe the youngest team in football now. We currently have 88 members on our roster, and 83 of them are under 30 years old.
Wow.
We went from a team that was aging and aging out quick to a young, talented, hopefully up and coming roster. As long as Todd Monken can develop these guys, there is a ton of young talent all over this roster now. And I've been on the record saying I don't know how good the Browns are going to be this year, but I think in 2 years, 3 years, the Browns have positioned themselves to be a legitimate team. If it's not this year, the following year or the year after, like they've turned this thing around really quick. And maybe they don't do it this year because they're still so young. I mean, they're super young, and you got a brand new coaching staff and all that stuff. But like the future's back to being bright, at least in my opinion.
Oh, I agree with you, man. And I think I see a lot of people in the chat here talking about we should have at least gotten 2 first-round picks for Myles Garrett, best defensive player in the league. I saw a lot of people, NFL analysts and people on Twitter today posting how, like, from around the league, you talk to GMs and gauge value of players. Jared Verse is a 2-year player, 25 years old. He's made the Pro Bowl both seasons, and like Blake said, defensive rookie of the year in 2024. Jared Verse has a trade value right now of 2 first-round picks. So the Browns got Jared Verse and a first and a second and a third. It's actually quite the haul for Myles Garrett if you think about it that way.
Yeah, I don't think people, again, they don't realize how valuable Jared Verse is. Like, I had to wrap my head around it because ultimately when I got this, I'm sitting in a meeting, I get the deets on my phone, and I'm like, oh, great, we got a player, just a first round and a second and a third. I was promised 3 firsts. That's what I was promised, you know. Then I had to dial it back. And it goes back to what we were saying, and we've said it numerous times on this podcast. When it comes to a quarterback in their second, third year, pass rusher, those are very valuable assets on a team. One affects the other, right? And people don't give those up in their second year on their rookie contract when they've won Defensive Rookie of the Year and they've been Pro Bowlers twice. Yes. Twice. Nobody gives that up. So we end up taking a piece that didn't want to be here anymore and wanted to go win a Super Bowl somewhere. And we acquired a piece that was younger, not necessarily on the same trajectory, but is a damn good football player. And one thing that they've said in the last 3 years is we want damn good football players and we don't want shitty football. you know? So with Verse, it's not a shitty football player, you know? And
oh, sorry. I thought you were done kidding. Go ahead.
No, I said I was pretty much done. I go, the proof is in the pudding. His stats are there.
To put things in perspective, and I want you remember, I am not saying that Jared Verse is Myles Garrett currently or will become Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's a unicorn.
No.
Yeah, okay. Yes. We totally get that. But there are guys who are in one tier below him that are still highly, sought after players. Max Crosby's, Micah Parsons, these kinds of players.
And productive.
So I went back and I looked at the first 2 years of Jared Verse's career versus the first 2 years of Myles Garrett's career, because it's not fair to compare Jared Verse to current Myles Garrett.
Thank you. Okay. I see a lot of people trying to do that. They're like, well, you can't replace Myles Garrett. I'm like, they didn't. That's why you got the first, second, and third on top of it. But go ahead.
Yeah. And Jared Verse is still under control now for a couple of years. We have his fifth. Yes. But so I went back and compared their first two seasons. Myles Garrett played 27 games. Jared Verse played 34. Probably, playoff games. Browns weren't making playoff games. Total tackles, 75 for Myles Garrett, 124 for Jared Verse. Solo tackles, 54 for Myles Garrett, 71 for Jared Verse. Assisted tackles, 21 for Myles Garrett, 53 for Jared Verse. Now, sacks, Myles Garrett's always been a sack king, 20 and a half sacks in his first 2 years for Myles, 12 for Jared Verse. Forced fumbles, 4 to 5 in favor of Jared Verse. Fumble recoveries, 1 to 2 in favor of Jared Verse. Pro Bowls, 2 to 0 in favor of Jared Verse. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse, yes. Myles Garrett, no. Again, I'm not saying that he's going to be Myles Garrett or he is Myles Garrett, but he's ascending. He is a player on the rise. We got him before he hit his prime. And this is what I've been trying to get through to people is Myles Garrett is amazing. And I wanted him to retire as a Brown, obviously, just like every other Browns fan. But having him, we won 8 games the last 2 years, and he had a losing record in all but 2 seasons of his career in Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken. It's just one of those things, like having an elite edge rusher in Myles Garrett didn't translate to wins for the organization. Now, it's not his fault, but it's just he doesn't play the position that gives you wins. And then so the Browns are 2 to 3 years away from putting a serious contender on the team. Maybe you're optimistic this year and you think we maybe push for a playoff spot, but I think if you're being really honest with yourself, you do not think the Browns are legitimate Super Bowl playoff contenders this year. Okay. That's 2 to 3 years down the road. Myles Garrett's going to be 33, 34, 35 years old by the time the Browns are seriously thinking about contending with the roster. We have no idea what kind of player Myles Garrett's going to be at 34 years old. He already gets banged up. I mean, there's been many times where you get to end of the year and Myles Garrett is just gutting through injury after injury after injury, and he's playing just because he's superhuman. Those add up. You have no idea. Once you get on the other side of 30, Father Time can hit you quick. We could see elite Myles Garrett for this season, and then who knows the next season what happens. I'm not predicting his downfall. I'm not saying the Rams struck out and they overpaid, but I'm just saying, like, you traded an older guy for a guy that you have control, who's on the rise, who put up better numbers than Myles Garrett did in his first 2 years. Do with that what you will, but the Browns got a top level player to replace Myles Garrett with.
Here's the thing to add on to what you're saying. Like, ultimately, Myles Garrett is 30, right? And you can fan hard. When I first heard this, I got punched in the gut. Like, I did not want this to happen. Like, I want to go to games and watch him in a Browns jersey. I want to bring people to my Browns backers chapter, and I want them to watch him with me. But he is 30 years old. And if you take a look at the Reggie Whites, if you take a look at the Julius Peppers, if you take a look at the JJ Watts, the DeMarcus Wares, there's this window of like 33 years old where these elite Pro Bowlers kind of start tapering off at 32, 33 years old. So ultimately what they've done is they've basically traded Myles prime now for Jared Verse's in a couple years. And that's what they've done. And we got picks on top of that.
Yeah, they reset the position on their own roster, which they've been doing at every other position. They're resetting with young talent. They're building this young super core of players. Jared Verse is the perfect one. I was saying all morning today, like if they trade with the Rams, I want Jared Verse back because we only have Alex Wright and Isaiah McGuire on the roster at the edge position. We need players there.
Yes.
I want Verse. And if everybody wants first round picks, that you have no guarantee that you can use a first round pick in 2028 or 2029 and get a player like Jared Verse. I mean, these edge rushers of his caliber, those are the guys that you try to get in the first round. Well, we just went ahead and got him.
And take a look at what the Browns have been saying in their pressers, right? They want competitive, tough football players, football character, loves the game, leadership potential, right? They've said all that. Now, the one thing about Myles Garrett, he leads by action. But if you want to go for someone in your locker room to fire it up, because like, hey, Blake, like what's the biggest thing we've complained about with the Browns is they're not fiery, right? We've had Nick Chubb, Joel Bitonio, all guys we love, not criticize them in any way. But there was maybe a lack of fire that's been brought up through comments here and there, right? And so while we had Garrett, who was thoughtful, reserved, cerebral, we got this guy now that's vocal, energetic, real firecracker, is an intense dude.
If Browns fans like Todd Monken, they're going to like Jared Verse.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what I mean?
No kidding.
Plus he's an Ohio kid. I love watching Ohio kids get to come home. I see a comment here I want to address. Well, two of them from Nancy. Thank you for the super chat. Hey guys, love the positivity. I hear he's a great locker room guy. Up the Browns media fans welcome him. His teammates talk great about. Exactly. That's what somebody said. Go listen to his mic'd up. He's a dog. Like that's the kind of guy that Browns fans are going to really attach to. And then another comment I see here: how many games are we going to lose because we don't have Myles terrorizing the opposing offense? Yes, Verse is almost statistically close to Myles, but it's not the same. My pushback will be: we can't lose many more. Yeah,
this is so true.
We can't lose many more because even with Myles dominating offenses, we won 5 games this year and 3 games the year before. So I would say if we didn't have Myles 2 years ago, we at worst could have only lost 3 more games than we did. So that's the whole point. Is just we're on 2 different timelines. And I, for one, I didn't want to trade Myles, but I'm excited to watch Myles get to play on a good team as just a football fan. Picture Myles Garrett getting in the postseason, getting to play with a lead. Imagine Myles Garrett playing with a lead, just pinning his ears back, playing on a good defense. Like, obviously, I'd rather watch him in Cleveland, but I'm excited to watch Myles and see what he can do with the last few years of his career. So I don't know. Sure. It's one of to me, it was one of those trades where like I just think both teams got what they needed out of it.
They did. And, a couple of things I wanted to say, too, is, I took a lot of crap from people over the last couple months talking about these Myles Garrett trade possibilities and people saying, well, you're just looking for stuff to post and rage bait this. And as soon as they moved that bonus date, that was so clear that they were at least leaving the door open for this to happen. Not just the Browns, but the Browns and Myles, because both sides had to agree on that mutually to make it happen. For me, the biggest play at factor in this whole thing, he didn't want to be here anymore. And Kenny said that earlier. Blake's mentioned it. Yeah. We can be mad at the Browns. You guys can be mad at us for talking about it and trying to find the silver lining and everything and all this. But the truth is, he just didn't want to be here. I was listening to Jake Burns on Browns Film Breakdown earlier. He pointed out that when the contract was set up last year, okay, so when they did that massive extension with Myles Garrett after he went on that super long media tour telling everybody how he wanted to get out of Cleveland, play for somebody who knew how to win and, pretty much throwing us under the bus big time. They laid out that contract so that this trade window would exist. So what his speculation was, and I think he's totally spot on, he said the Browns probably sat down with Myles Garrett and said, listen, with the way your contract is now with 2 years remaining, we cannot financially trade you. The dead cap would cripple us. We can't do it. Let's give you an extension. Let's make you the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, in NFL history. And we'll lay it out in a way that next year, if you want to revisit trade talks, there will be a window for us to do so. And that's what they did. And then they moved the bonus date back, and it's like, here we are. And I'm sure he saw the state of the team with the uncertainty at quarterback and the youth movement, because again, like Blake said, are we serious contenders in 2026? No, even with Myles Garrett, it's a stretch. Next year gets a little more rosy. The year after that, this young core is going to grow and be really good. But they, like Blake said, two different timelines. Myles Garrett's timeline did not match up with the Browns, and the Browns sure as hell didn't match up with what Myles Garrett wanted to be doing right now in his career.
This episode is sponsored by Trollco. Browns fans, there's a phrase that has been used around the blue-collar world forever. Dirty hands, clean money. The idea that you show up, you put in the work, and you build your ideal life because of it. Sound familiar? That is Browns country. And Trollco is a clothing brand built around that very belief. Two guys who worked the oil patch looked around and could not find a single brand that represented people like them. So they started making workwear, tees, hoodies, and hats all by themselves. You know, gear for the person who works hard all week and still brings that same energy to the tailgate on Sundays. And I know I'm talking Cleveland in general, but Northeast Ohio is that blue-collar, work hard, earn what you have area. Whether it's you or somebody you know, a family member, your dad, your brother, uncle, whatever the case may be, you guys know what that dirty hands, clean money phrase truly means. So check out what they have to offer. Head to trollco.com/dogs. That's TROLLCO.com/dogs, DAWGS, and use code DOGS25 for 25% off your first order.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Imagine being the guy to run Baker out of town, trade 3 first-round picks for Watson, paying the biggest contract in NFL history, run Nick Chubb out of town, trade Myles Garrett. Unreal. We didn't run Nick Chubb out of town. We didn't run Nick Chubb out of town. He just kept getting
got
injured.
old. Yeah,
he just got old. Okay. The rest of the stuff, running Baker out of town, I feel like he kind of ran himself out of town. The other stuff, those things happened.
the Watson thing did happen, yes, and this is still a ramification of that.
I may crash out if the Browns start Watson after trading a Hall of Fame player because Watson was such a colossal failure. Hearing Watson give us the best chance to win after this trade should send you to the gulag. Thank you for the super chat. I will say this. Trading Myles Garrett to me is the organization saying we're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. We're not making the playoffs this year. This is not the year for winning. So then it absolutely makes no sense to start Deshaun Watson.
Thank you. That's where I've been at all day is like, hey, so moving Garrett tells me we have to be playing Shador, right? Because it makes no sense to play Deshaun. It drives me nuts, but
because it's
not going to go well.
If you thought you were a legit contender this year, then you don't trade Myles Garrett. Because obviously Myles, you know what I mean? Because obviously Myles Garrett's the best defensive player in football. This just signals that you don't think you're going to be good enough to compete this year. So why would you start a quarterback that won't be on the roster the year after?
Well, and
we throw interceptions at 7-on-7s, guys. Come on, we're not good.
Watson can be that quarterback. So why start him? Like you said, on the last year of his deal, if they thought that he was actually regaining form, which when I see people say that, I'm just like, I just don't even know what to say to people sometimes. But
it's OTAs, man.
Yeah.
Another thing I saw, somebody was talking about Myles, and I think Lawson is the new defensive coordinator. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did the Falcons not lead the league in sacks last year?
They were like 10th or something like that.
I thought they were really high up there, and they didn't have Myles Garrett. He knows how to get production out of.
Yes, I think they did actually. They were.
I thought they led
either
the
leaders or among the leaders.
Maybe I was looking at interceptions.
So this guy can get production out of players not named Myles Garrett. You know what I mean? So, like, obviously losing Myles, your sack numbers could go down, but this guy knows how to scheme up players and get guys looks and get them one-on-one matchups. So a guy like Jared Verse should come in here and see his sack
you're right,
go up.
They had 57 sacks, man. 57 sacks, pretty good.
Yeah,
We did not have that.
Oh, Crayfish here in the chat says, why start Shador in this trade to go after the franchise quarterback in the super amazing 2027 class? My answer to that is you start Shador because you still don't know. Like, there's still and I'm not saying it's going to happen. So people think, oh, you're saying he's going to be the guy. Never said that. He's the only one on the roster who has the potential to maybe be the guy. The 49ers didn't know that Brock Purdy was going to be the guy, but he turned out to be. So what did they get to do with their future draft capital? Use it on other pieces. Build a team, build a roster.
Yeah, I don't know if Shador's the guy, but you're starting to find out, because what if he is? In a perfect world, my dream is you start Shador and he looks pretty good, like good enough where you feel good that he's the guy, but we still lose a decent amount of games and finish with a top 5 pick, and we can somehow get Jeremiah Smith. that is like if I can watch competent offense, but we still lose 12 games and get Jeremiah Smith going into the next year with this core and add him to KC Concepcion and Boston and get Jerry Jeudy out of here. Like, okay, I'll be very excited. But you don't find that out unless you start Shador.
No, you don't. So, yeah, I think that's the route I would go. You know what you have with the other guy, and it's not much. You have the situation we're in right now where we're talking about we just traded the best defensive player we've ever watched.
Yeah,
so
anybody's watched.
Do we want to take a quick break and come back and get to the voicemails?
Yes, let's do that. We'll be right back, everybody. Hang tight. This episode is sponsored by Kalshi. All right, Browns fans, we've all messed around with the sports books before, right? And let's be honest, you're always kind of playing against the house. But with Kalshi, it's different. You're not betting against some sports book. You're trading against other real-world people. There's no house trying to beat you. Kalshi just runs the marketplace. So if you think the public is wrong, like everybody's overreacting to these smoke screens in the draft or sleeping on a prospect, you can literally take the other side of the market. And it's not just sports either. You can trade on other real-world stuff, interest rates, inflation, even wild weather outcomes. It works like this. Simple yes or no markets. Your risk is capped up front and your payout is locked in. So if you trust your takes and instincts, and I know you guys do, go check out Kalshi and see what markets are live right now. So head over to kalshi.com/dogs, KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS. Deposit just $20 and Kalshi's going to match you. They're going to put $20 free into your account. That's a great deal to get started. So again, kalshi.com/dogs, $20 match when you deposit $20 into your account. Hey, Browns fans, we just partnered with Fanatics to bring you guys the best Browns gear available. Head over to brownsmerch.com to check out everything in our storefront. I know you guys want that new Shador Sanders #2 jersey. We've got those in there. Rock the Depoy and the D-Roy jerseys with Myles Garrett and Carson Swessinger, along with the other studs from last year's draft. We've got a collection of Browns hats, T-shirts, and hoodies you can browse through too. Again, that's brownsmerch.com to check out our Browns gear powered by Fanatics.
Welcome back. Thank you for sticking it out here with us. Let's just go ahead and jump right into these voicemails.
Yes, let's do it. All right, let me think. I'm trying to remember who said what here. We'll just start at the top. This one's from Grant.
Well, I'm sure you boys have heard. Myles Garrett, he's going to the Los Angeles Rams. Get your thoughts on it. We got Jared Verse as 2027 first-round pick and maybe something else coming with that. I hope it's another pick, either a second-rounder at least. I don't know. I kind of saw it coming. I'm sure you boys saw it coming. But along Myles Garrett, I truthfully hope he gets that Lombardi trophy he's chasing. The guy does deserve it. I want to see him do it with the Browns, but as long as he gets it. It's going to be an interesting season. Woof, woof.
Yeah, I think as a fan of what the player did for us all these years and how much fun he was to watch and everything, like Blake said earlier, I will be rooting for him when the postseason arrives, as long as, the Browns aren't playing the Rams. But they're in the NFC, so I'll be rooting for them the whole way to see Myles Garrett actually get to go achieve what he set out to achieve. I think that's cool.
Well, we all got 1:00 games, except for maybe 2 games this year, and I know the Rams play a lot of 4s, so I'll be watching that right after.
Yep,
I agree.
Next one. Yep. Blake's like, yep, good to go. All right, next one here is from Justin.
Definitely a sad day. Love Myles Garrett. And at first, I was amongst the group thinking, we should have got more first-round picks. I've been watching some clips on him for the past about 35 minutes. Verse is an absolute dog. I'm very excited for him to bring his youth in, his talent, 2-time Pro Bowler, and all that else that's on his resume. Hey, we've got another exciting draft next year with 2 first-round picks. I'm super excited for the kid to come here and play. And, Myles Garrett, I always love him. And he won, Defensive Player of the Year. But I remember multiple games over the past year or two where he was getting pulled off the field because his feet were in pain and, his body isn't going to last forever. And I'm absolutely for this. Super excited for Verse to be on our team now. Super excited for where we're headed, man. And 2 first-round picks having, next year is going to be exciting to look forward to. We should be absolutely ecstatic about this trade. The more I watch film and clips on Verse, so happy to see him with our defense we already have. It's going to be legendary. Let's go Browns. Ooh.
Yeah, man, it's just like we were saying earlier. It's like everybody got punched in the gut. We didn't want to see it, right? And then when you actually take a look and you put your GM cap on, it's a good deal,
It's different. Like for me, Kenny, we were talking before you got on here, and I've been kind of holding back a little bit talking to you guys on previous episodes, like trying to deliver the soft blow that this is probably going to happen. He's probably going to get traded, but everybody gets so butthurt about it, like bent out of shape and push back, like you're an idiot. They would never do this. I'm like, okay, fine. Because Kenny texted me this morning and said, do you actually think he's going to get traded? What'd you say, Kenny? You're like, I'm about 20%. And I said, yeah, dude, I'm 90. This is done. The done deal. And turns out it was. They had this deal in place for a while. They met with Myles Garrett in person on Saturday and thanked him for his time here and all that stuff. So they had their goodbyes. This trade was in place because the Browns were at their golf outing today. They weren't in the office fielding, trade calls and working up deals. This was done.
Yeah, I was swimming in that old river denial, man, just big time, just taking gulps of water because I went to the groundbreaking ceremony. The face of the franchise isn't there to sell tickets to give his thoughts on the new stadium. It was odd, like I know he's got Chloe Kim and they are where they are in their relationship, so we thought they were traveling, but that should have been a clue to me as well.
Yeah. You guys have got a loser mentality because of this team. Please explain. Why do we have a loser mentality?
Who said that? I'm trying to find it.
I don't know how to pronounce their name. Paramach Sandu. I don't get it.
Crayfish is having a little crash out here in the chat. Fans sounds like a bunch of losers. I hope Myles goes and wins a Super Bowl. What else? What do you want us to say? We hope he goes there and sucks? No, man.
To give us 9 years of his life.
Yeah, he got us the sack record last year. It was so much fun to watch. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer.
He's at the pinnacle of his career. Barry's treating him well, moved him to a contender. And, he just, there's not much left for him to do here. So I don't know what you want to hear.
And I will say this. I will be on Matt Stafford back injury watch like a hawk this season. I mean, training camp, did he tweak something? I'm not rooting for injury, but that's because Jake Burns said that too. We are one Matt Stafford back injury away from maybe having a top 15 pick next year. You just never know. Like when the Falcons traded their future first round pick in 2025 to the Rams, they thought they were going to be good. They didn't know they were giving the Rams, 13 overall?
Yeah.
So you just never know what's going to happen.
Are you guys still out on Bosa?
I was never out on Bosa.
And it just got to be a good price because I don't know how much just injury concerns throughout his career. But if you get him on a team-friendly deal, I don't think you'll find anybody in Ohio who doesn't want a Bosa on their team.
Dude, absolutely. Get Joey Bosa in here. And again, at this point in his career, he's more of a rotational piece anyway. He's not going to be your 3-down starting type player on the other edge. So he would be a great rotational player with Alex Wright, Isaiah McGuire, with Jared Verse in there. I think that'd be a nice unit at the edge position. I don't think he's coming here, but
do you think not drafting an edge rusher is a mistake now? McGuire in the last year in his contract too? No, because we swapped.
We got Jared Verse.
We're in the same spot we were. We still got Jared Verse in place of Myles Garrett. Then you still got Alex Wright, McGuire opposite him. And I think I saw they were looking to maybe add one. There's still, I don't know if there's any free agent ones out there still. But
would you trade for Josh Sweat?
That's one of them I saw. Yeah.
Would you trade for him? Because, I mean, you got a couple assets now that you acquired. So maybe you could throw one that way, or some of the assets that we acquired in the draft. I don't know what it would take to prime out there.
We should have a lot more money now, right?
It did free up some money, I think. I forget. I'd have to go find the tweet. I'll pull that information later this week so we get it all accurate. But
we freed some up with cutting Batonio and
those
cuts.
cuts went into place today too. 3.4 million cleared. So
that's something.
The thing is, we also have Logan Fano. We've got some UDFA guys that I think the team's actually pretty excited about. That Corday Snyder from somebody in the chat help me with that. What college he come from? But he was apparently running with the first team last week because I think Alex Wright was out of OTAs for just a little bit, whether it might have just been rest, but Myles wasn't there. So I don't know. We have some young guys in there. It'd be interesting to see how camp goes.
Vanderbilt. It's from Vanderbilt.
That's what it was. Yep.
It says, when is the last time the Browns have actually won consistently? It's just some of you guys just don't see it. Jimmy Haslam wants people like you to keep supporting his slop. The Browns have not won consistently in my entire life. That is 100% true. Also true, it's not because Jimmy Haslam hasn't tried. It's because he sucks. Okay? The dude has poured so much money into the Cleveland Browns. He is paying so much cash in escrow for all the guaranteed contracts and converting contracts to bonuses to free up cap space. This dude is spending more cash than anybody in the league. It is not because he wants there to be slop. He's trying everything he can to make us good. He just needs to let football people do football stuff. And eventually he's going to learn that based on the draft last year, maybe the draft this year, maybe he's finally letting football decisions and not analytical decisions and baseball guys make decisions for the franchise. But yes, two things can be true again. The Browns can have been a dumpster fire for most of my life, and it's not because Jimmy Haslam wants us to be a dumpster fire. It's just because he's not a very good owner.
And there's a lot of the fans. I get it. Fan reactions are all over the place. Because again, I didn't want to trade Myles Garrett. You never want to see the best player on your team leave the team, and he's also the best defensive player in the entire league at the same time. Like, you want that guy on your roster. But I also get the feeling that a lot of people that are saying, the Browns are idiots for doing this trade and they never should have moved him. How are you ever going to win if you don't keep your best players? Would be the same exact people in 2 years, like Kenny was saying, when Myles is starting to hit his decline and the Browns still haven't won anything. They'd be the same people saying, why didn't we trade him when we had the chance? We should have gotten something for him.
Exactly. We've been bitching about this forever. So about not Myles, but not getting guys out in time, and not like it's very rare that players stay with their teams for the entire duration of their careers. So if that's not the case, if that's 99% of the time, get something while the getting's good, especially when it doesn't look that great for this season. And the cards have been thrown in on the season already.
I think I saw it was in the Discord. A quote said, "It's better to be a year early than a year late."
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
You'd much rather it sucks and it hurts, but I'd much rather trade Myles Garrett this year when he's at the all-time highest his trade value is going to be, than if we tried to do it the next year after and he starts a decline. you start seeing him lose a step or something like that, and you can't see the future. You don't know when it's going to happen. So I'd rather be a year early than a year late. And this is why as a GM, you can't run your franchise like a fan, because if Andrew Berry was just a fan of the Browns, we'd still have Nick Chubb as our starting running back. We'd still have you fall in love with these guys and you can't ever make the hard decision. It was better for the future of the Browns to get Jared Verse and a first-round pick and a second-round pick and a third pick. It was better for the Browns 2 and 3 years from now than it was to keep Myles Garrett right now. You have to be able to make that calculated hard decision if you're going to be a GM.
Yeah, and I see people in the chat saying Barry gave up 3 first-round picks for Watson. That's what we should have got back for Garrett. I'm like, well, first of all, Watson was a young quarterback.
Yes,
a top 5 quarterback in the league. That's completely different than an edge rusher. It's still an important position, but it's not the most important position. And again, guys, we've already talked about this at the top of the show. Jared Verse, based on who he is, where he's at in his career, what he's done so far through just 2 years with 3 years of control on a rookie deal, he is worth 2 first-round picks right now in league circles. So the Browns did get 3 first-round picks back for Myles Garrett, plus a second and a third. It was a good deal.
Yeah.
Again, they didn't lose a spot. They didn't vacate a spot on their defensive line, which may have happened in other instances. You got something that's 5 years younger that has Pro Bowl potential because he's already got 2 under his belt. Yeah. That's why it's good. And again, it's hard to wrap your head around it. I get it because I had to. Before I came on here, I had to figure out, I had to stop being a fan, put the GM hat on, and go, okay, was this good?
This says from Biozio 186, Rams fan here. Jared Verse is a dog. Dude has 2 TDs in the playoffs. Appreciate you stopping in, giving us some insight. Also enjoy Myles Garrett. I'm really happy you went to an NFC team. I have no ill will towards the Rams. I like Sean McVay. I've always liked Matthew Stafford. He just went to a team and I think their stadium's super cool. It's on my bucket list of stadiums to visit. So he just went to a team that's just so far away from Cleveland, out of conference, out of sight, out of mind. I have no ill will. He can just go over there and it just doesn't haunt me. He didn't go to the Chiefs or something stupid like that.
Yeah, it'd be awful.
Yeah, I see Colton says, is there another team he could have gone to that would have had the ability to give us more capital?
I think the only other team that was really even thinking about it was the Eagles.
Right.
And I think you kind of saw the Myles news went, and then 3 hours later they traded A.J. Brown to the Patriots.
Yeah.
It's like they were holding on to him just in case they needed him for that Myles Garrett deal. And once they lost out on Myles Garrett, they sent him to New England.
Well, there was some dot connecting for the Patriots too with Myles just because of Mike Vrabel, right? There was some of that, and then there was this convoluted 3-way trade between the two, and everybody gets their stuff, and the Browns all end up with picks. But for the most part, there wasn't a lot.
Yeah, Jared Verse was the thing in this deal. I think even more than that. And don't get me wrong, the 2027 first round pick is great, but whenever you read the reports that the Browns were adamant, no, Jared Verse has to be part of this deal, and the Rams didn't want to do it, that they wanted that young, proven player, which that is so valuable because, again, the draft is a crapshoot. How many teams use first-round picks on players that don't pan out? Just look at the Browns' history of first-round picks. They don't always pan out. You get a guy, and I saw this too posted a lot today, and I agree with it. This trade's a little weird because you don't often see players after their second year of making 2 Pro Bowls, being Defensive Rookie of the Year. That player never gets traded on their rookie deal. This is very rare. The Browns pulled something off here that's not often done.
This is, love this podcast so much, appreciate that, but this is painful coping. I don't think we're coping. No. In terms, I said at the very start of this episode, I'm sad to see the player go because I like the player. In my mind, football sense, this was almost a no-brainer in terms of if you're gonna trade him, which it makes sense to do it. Keeping him We won 3 games 2 years ago, guys. We won 5 games last year. You know what I mean? And that was we somehow ended the season on a 2-game win streak. We were staring at back-to-back 3-win seasons right in the face. Having him did nothing for us in terms of wins and losses, which at the end of the day is the only thing that matters. Can you say that the Browns failed Myles Garrett? They didn't put a team around him that allowed us to win games with his talent? Yeah, you can say that, but it doesn't change the fact that having Myles Garrett didn't make us Super Bowl contenders. That's evidenced by the fact that we've never been Super Bowl contenders with Myles Garrett for 9 years.
Right.
So this is a move about the future, 100%. You can't be so short-sighted that you don't see that. Like what? So you have Myles Garrett for 2 more years, and he gets a bunch more sacks, and we only win 3 games in 5 games again, and then he rides off into the sunset, or he starts dwindling and he isn't playing at such a high level, and then we're just stuck with this giant contract of a player who's not playing at such a high level, but you want to keep him because you want him to be a lifer. So then you start giving him 1-year deals and 2-year deals and giving him massive contracts, and he's just on your books. Like this just made the most sense for the Browns and for their future. It's not coping. It's just the facts.
No, and I mean, like for me, definitely, it's not coping because I was fully expecting this. Like I didn't know if it would happen right on June 1st, but I was pretty much accepting already that Myles was getting moved this summer. That's what the moves the Browns made. And I know I was talking to Kenny before the show, and he said, Andrew Berry, and then they said they don't have any intention of trading him and stuff. And I said, actions over words. What is the team doing? Because they're going to tell you the right stuff in a press conference. But the moves they made with the contract, the pushing back of the bonus, it's like they're going to trade him if they can. It doesn't mean that anything's going to transpire. The right deals are going to come up. But if the right deal comes up, this guy's getting traded. I just knew it was coming.
I saw 2 comments here. One from our guy Colton is the reality of the situation is we can get 5 sacks a game out of Myles Garrett and still lose by 17 points. That's happened.
Oh man,
you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's just that point. I had that point and I forgot about that. Yeah, that was the Patriots game. Ugh.
That's just the way it is. And then another person said we'll be lucky to win 3 games this year. If Myles Garrett was on this team, we'd still be lucky to win 3 games because we only won 3 games 2 years ago with Myles Garrett on our team. And we only won 5 games last year with him on his team. And he broke the sack record and was Defensive Player of the Year. And we scratched and clawed for 5 wins. You just made my point for me. Thank you.
Yeah. And then I see, so I don't even know how to say it. Be Safe 07 says, why didn't they trade him last year before extending his contract? I already talked about that. But again, he had 2 years remaining on his deal. The dead cap hit made his contract untradeable. They had to extend him, structure it, so that way he was tradable this summer. This was all set in place last year when they gave him that extension in, what was it, March or April? Yeah. You guys want to do another voicemail?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do, this one's from Connor.
What's up, boys? Connor calling in. Just saw the Myles Garrett trade and just wanted to call in. And I agree with Josh. You're never going to receive full compensation for a player like Myles. It's just not going to happen. He's one of the greatest defensive players in the game, but to ever play. So the haul we got back, obviously, it looks like we got what everyone's saying is fleeced, but it's a pretty nice return for a guy who ultimately wanted out of Cleveland. He does not want to be here. And we get a young, up-and-coming edge rusher who is really talented. I would have liked to have seen another first-round pick, but, I mean, beggars can't be choosers. AB is doing a fantastic job at retooling this entire team and making us a lot younger and just getting athletes, just absolute dogs. But with that being said, I love the podcast. Appreciate everything you guys do, and go Browns. Woo-hoo.
Appreciate that, Connor.
Yeah, man. Like he's a football player, and just based on the last 2 drafts, I'm feeling good about Andrew Berry and what he's doing. And, let's see what they can do this year. I mean, we got a fiery coach now. We got a fiery defensive coordinator. Like when I hear that guy talk, I feel like he's going to pass out because he doesn't breathe in while he's talking, and now we got a fiery defensive end, and that's going to bode well for the defense. Hopefully that fire catches on and we start getting some of those turnovers like they had in Atlanta last year.
Well, we're getting, like you said this earlier, Kenny, we're getting football players. good young football players who are just naturally, by nature, hungry dogs. They want to go out there and they want to ball out. They want to be great. They want to get those second contracts, So, yeah, the future definitely looks good here. Even if it sucks right now because we lost Myles Garrett, guys. Like Blake said, to start the show, both things can absolutely and are absolutely true.
This episode is sponsored by Butcher Box for Pets. Browns fans, Butcher Box for Pets has a deal you cannot pass up for your four-legged family members. Right now, you get 50% off your first subscription order of the premium slow-cooked nutrition dog food or the premium fresh dog food. Just go to butcherboxforpets.com/dogs, DAWGS, and use promo code DOGS when you check out. It can get confusing because we're the dogs, we love our fellow dogs, our dog pack members, and the Dog Pound faithful. But let's not kid ourselves. The most important dogs in our lives are, well, our dogs. And they're not just pets, like I said, they're part of the family. So the question is, what are you actually feeding them? At ButcherBox, they believe in real ingredients. Their pet foods have been developed and certified by vet nutritionists to contain 0 artificial flavors or preservatives. I know our house wouldn't be the same without Odie, our 100-pound golden retriever who thinks he's a 10-pound lap dog. Absolute dumbest dog in the world, but we love him like crazy. And it gives us peace of mind knowing that we're giving him quality food instead of those factory processed blocks from the store. And speaking of the store, no need to add dog food to your shopping list ever again. ButcherBox delivers their high-quality food right to your door. Just choose the delivery schedule that you need for your dog, and you can change, modify, pause, or cancel your plan at any time. So try it out today. Your dog will love you for upgrading their meal times. ButcherBoxForPets.com/dogs and use promo code DOGS, DAWGS, to get 50% off. That's right, half off your first subscription order of the premium slow-cooked nutrition fresh dog food or the premium fresh dog food. Minimum purchase of just $34. 50% discount applies to subscription orders only. One use per customer, and you can cancel at any time. ButcherBoxForPets.com/dogs. Browns fans, we just partnered with Fanatics to bring you guys the best Browns gear available. Head over to brownsmerch.com to check out everything in our storefront. I know you guys want that new Shedeur Sanders #2 jersey. We've got those in there. Rock the Depoy and the D-Roy jerseys with Myles Garrett and Carson Swessinger, along with the other studs from last year's draft. We've got a collection of Browns hats, T-shirts, and hoodies you can browse through too. Again, that's brownsmerch.com to check out our Browns gear powered by Fanatics. All right, we got 2 more. This one's from Ben.
Hey guys, it's Ben here from the UK. Just saw the potential Myles Garrett trade. I don't actually know how to feel about it, to be honest. Jared Verse, who is a very good player and a first-round pick, and then like a bunch of other picks. I don't know. It's not confirmed yet. I don't know if we're getting a good deal out of this or not. I don't know how to feel about it. Jared Verse is a really good player, and like we've got guaranteed a first round pick. But I feel like really 2 first round picks. Like it's Myles Garrett. You can't replace Myles Garrett. So minimum 2 first round picks, surely. I mean, it's sad to see him go. If he does go, like he's a legend of this franchise, I don't know. I don't think you can replace him, but I do feel like this trade is a pretty good place to start. But yeah, you guys let me know. Go Dogs.
Yeah, you can't replace Myles. It's not, if you look at his WAR number, and that's in PFF, right? It's a 0.79. It is the highest in the league. He's irreplaceable, but you're ultimately doing what I said earlier. You're taking his prime right now and you're trading it off for assets and the potential prime of Verse. And that's what you're getting. It's like before the other caller, like you're not going to get the exact value because you can't place it when you try to get something younger. You're just trying to match it up, coach it up, and hopefully you get it. But it's a good trade overall. And don't get me wrong, like as a fan, like I'm not happy about this. Like I'm still pretty devastated about it. I love Myles Garrett, man. But like I said, if you put your GM cap on and you think about what this does for the franchise, it's a good move.
I said this a bunch of times, I think last year when he made his trade request, and I've said it even this year. Myles Garrett was worth more to the Browns than he was to other teams. So all of these people who are like, at least 3 first-round picks, or it should have been 2 first, 2 second, that's just not – this isn't Madden. Okay. Like you can't, especially when we have limited leverage. Myles wants out. He has a no trade clause, and there's only one realistic suitor for him. We can't just call them and say it's 3 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, Jared Verse and Matthew Stafford, or no deal. And they're just going to say, okay, no deal. And they're going to go about their lives, and they're going to go contend for the Super Bowl, and we'll try to win 3 games with Myles Garrett on our team. Like, I saw another comment here that said last year it's kind of like a course correction. The Mason or Micah Parsons deal was kind of like, okay, that's an overpay. Market correction. This is a more realistic deal. If you always looked at the previous trade to see what your next trade would be, 20 years from now, if you traded a very good D end, what are you going to give up? 20 first round picks? Are you going to give up 30 players? You know what I mean? Like you can't always be one upping the trade. The market's going to correct itself. You have to be realistic. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and we'll go off your point there. Look at it from the Los Angeles Rams point of view. Okay. You want to go get Myles Garrett. Absolutely. Yes, you do. The Browns are saying, okay, we want your first round pick in 2027. By the way, the 2027 first round picks are very hard to come by. Nobody wants to give them up because it's a highly coveted class. Will it actually turn out to be? We'll see.
Who knows?
Draft circles are very high on this class in 2027, and they have been for a while. So the Browns say, well, we want that first round pick. Okay. And the Browns say, we also want your super young, 2-time Pro Bowl, former defensive rookie of the year, up and coming, ascending elite edge rusher in the package. Ooh. And you want our first round pick? Yeah. And we want another second and a third. Whenever you start thinking about it, like, what are you willing to give up on your side of things to go get that player? I don't know. It sucks losing Myles, but like we've said over and over here, the time was right. The timelines did not match up, and he didn't want to be here. So they got the absolute best deal I feel like they could have possibly gotten. Getting Jared Verse for me is just people. If you have not watched Jared Verse, if you don't know who he is, you're not familiar. I get it. I understand. Not everybody watches Rams games, stays and watches the 4:00 slate. I get it. This kid is freaking good.
I think Nate said it in the Discord today. If the Rams weren't in like their Super Bowl window, like going to compete with it, everybody would be screaming about how they overpaid. They didn't overpay because Myles is like a missing piece for them to maybe get over the hump and compete with the Seahawks for the Super Bowl. But if they were like a team just trying to make that leap, everybody would be saying they overpaid. That's what they would be saying. I had one more thing to say, and I don't remember. Colton asked if I think he should have to sell his rights to the Cavs. No, because he's always going to be welcome back in Cleveland for me. I'd love to see him at Cavs games. And then Crayfish in here said it was Cope again, and I've yet to hear the argument for why we're wrong and you're right. Other than you, so you can't just keep saying Cope. Explain to me why it's Cope. Why am I wrong and you're right? Huge fan of Jared Verse. This isn't a knock on him whatsoever. It's simply not enough for Myles Garrett. I needed 2 firsts. Keep up the great work. But you got 2 firsts.
You got more than that.
Yes. In at least according to league standards, you got 3 firsts. Jared Verse is worth 2 first round picks, and then you got a first round draft pick. Yeah.
And so right here's be safe. Overpaid, not after the Sauce Gardner trade. We have to stop comparing trades that aren't apples to apples, people. I think another thing, we haven't really talked about this yet. First of all, the Rams are taking on a soon to be 31-year-old player. So you have a limited amount of time with this player. Plus, you're taking on the full contract. The Browns just gave him the highest non-paid quarterback contract in NFL history last season. You know how much? I don't have it broken down here. It's on Twitter. I'll have to find it for an episode later this week. The Rams are taking on a lot down the road. Not this year, not next year, the way the contract is structured. But in a few years, it's big. So you got to look at it, too, from the Rams' point of view. Like, okay, so you want our first round pick next year. You want one of our best young defensive player on this team. And you want us to take on all this contract and a second and a third. Like, I just don't understand how people don't see why this was a really good deal.
Yeah, the contract versus taking on a rookie contract based on the hell that we've been in, with where we're at, it's that alone is so huge for the Browns. And I think somebody mentioned, is Denzel the next? I don't think we can do anything with Denzel since we moved Myles Garrett, so he's safe for a year, I guess. But that you guys got to think about that. Like, when you have to wrap your head around Jared Verse, you have to wrap around what he is. And again, it gets back to this: he's a 2-time Pro Bowler that won Defensive Rookie of the Year. That's on a rookie contract. You have to take the full scope of it. That's a huge thing to get. And we've already said it once, maybe twice on this. People don't trade those people. Straight up.
Caleb in the chat. Yes, we do have Versus 5th-year option. He'll be eligible for his second contract extension at the end of this season, 2026. So I would imagine next offseason, as long as everything goes well this year, like we're expecting it to for him on the team, he's going to be the next one up for a big contract extension. And he'll be a pivotal piece of this Browns defense moving forward. You guys are going to love him. You guys are going to love Jared Verse.
And again, I know Myles Garrett's a unicorn, a freak athlete. How many 31, 32, 33-year-old edge rushers are there playing in the NFL? At least that are playing at a super, super high level.
No,
there's not that many. Like, it's not a position, and everybody wants to say like he's not normal. He'll play it. I saw come in here. He's going to be elite for 7 more years. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Do you guys remember Khalil Mack? Khalil Mack was like Myles. I mean, he had a stretch where he
was Myles.
He dominated
Myles.
games.
Yeah.
Yes, and then just 1 year, it's like he wasn't there. He was just like a solid player ish, and now like, where is Khalil Mack? And it happened like that. You know, that's the way it works when you get on the other side of 30 in the NFL. And he plays look at all the injuries he's dealt with and all the doubles and triple teams he's put up with in his career in Cleveland. You have no idea what time is going to do to his body, how he's going to break down. He could be great this year and be on the downside the very next year. You have no idea.
That's why I mentioned the guys that I mentioned, guys, they are unicorns too. I mentioned Reggie White, Julius Peppers, JJ Watt. Like, those guys play into their mid-30s. We removed Myles, an awesome player that's 30 years old. And if you're saying he's the next Bruce Smith, it could be, and he played till he was 40. And but it's not likely based on stats. But could Myles be that guy? Maybe. But ultimately, you invested the number 1 pick overall in 2017, and we got awesome years out of him, and we got back an awesome player that you don't typically get in Jared Verse. Could be possibly worth 2 first-rounders, a first round, a second round, and a third round. And that's getting it back. And I get it. Like, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a unicorn. I get all that. But he wasn't going to win a Super Bowl here based on where we're at right now. And they're doing him a solid. Get him out of here. And we cleared up some cap space.
Well, and the biggest thing I just want to remind everybody out there who's still griping in the chat and you're upset. I get it. I totally get it. But you're forgetting the biggest part of this, which I already talked about. He didn't want to be here. He was going to, he was holding us to a point where it's like, we're going to have to get rid of this guy.
I see in here, Devontae says Verse better have 12 plus sacks this year. And another person said, I want 14. And then this person said the stat obviously doesn't win games. Verse just needs to do his job. He's a great run defender and pressure. Sacks be damned. I'd like to see wins. Thank you.
Thank you.
Myles Garrett had 23 sacks this year. We barely won 5 games. We got lucky to win 5 games. Sacks are a cool stat, and they get you paid. They don't. That's not the only thing that wins games. The defense, I think, is still going to be a very, very good defense if we can score points. It turns out we got to score points. That's what's going to be the difference for the Browns, if they can be good or not.
I do not want to see 16.8 points this year. I need to see some touchdowns, boys and girls. Touchdowns.
Before we wrap it up, one last point here. I saw, speaking on that, Myles Garrett's record in Cleveland is like 40 games under 500.
Yeah.
So like, I understand it sucks to lose Myles Garrett, but it's not, people are acting like, oh my God, we gave up Myles Garrett. We were Super Bowl contenders and now we're not. No, we're coming off back-to-back terrible seasons. We've been awful in 3 out of the last 4 years he's been in Cleveland. The only reason we were even good the 1 year is because Joe Flacco came in and started chucking around for 300 yards. Notice it took Joe Flacco to get the offense scoring 30 points a game for us to win games.
Yeah.
For him to have a playoff season in the one time in the last 4 years. Like so he's 40 games under 500 basically in his career for the Browns. I love him, but I don't care about how many sacks he got. We never won.
No, I mean, as a fan, emotionally, this hurts. This sucks. But realistically, logically, makes sense. Again, like I said, I've been prepared for them to trade Myles Garrett ever since they moved that bonus date. As soon as that happened, I was like, oh, yeah, this is coming. Everybody hated it, bitched at me for saying that, whatever. I was prepared for it. We do have one last. Can I get Caleb's voicemail quick?
Yep.
So the Myles Garrett news just came in. Absolutely tragic losing Myles. But honestly, it could be better for the team. And I'm kind of excited for this next season. It could add some depth to our team, which we're about the worst in the league at depth. But we also have KC and Boston, who could be great. A bolstered O-line, which will hopefully improve quarterback play and help Quinshawn out a little bit. We got some young studs going into their second season, like Quinshawn, but we also have Mason Graham and Dylan Sampson and Schlesinger. Plus, we have some great defensive pickups in this off season, I thought. Well, we have McNeil Warren in the draft, and then Quincy Williams in free agency, plus now Jared Verse. I think all of this, plus the extra 27 first, we could use to square away QB if Shadur and Watson don't work out, and still be able to get a potential elite wide receiver with the other first as well. I mean, I think the Browns could have something brewing here, and it could be great. However, at the end of the day, it is the Cleveland Browns, and we're probably going to mess it up, which is what really scares me about this.
Caleb, you were so positive through that whole thing.
I feel like me and Caleb would get along though. Like I feel like, yeah, it sucks losing him, but it could be good, but it probably won't because we're the Browns. I feel like I felt every part of that.
Yep. Me too.
Hey,
but
we still got some great pieces on defense, man. We got Delpit. We got our new safety, like he said. We got Jared Verse back on there, Mason Graham, Malik Collins. Alex Wright has been doing okay. Quincy Williams is good. Carson Schlesinger, guys. Like, there's some pieces there. Would I like to see some more depth? Yes, but there's some pieces that can be good. And Rutenberg, if he can work his magic, you can see those interceptions coming just in the OTAs right now. And you can say, hey, it's the quarterbacks, it's our defensive backs. He's coaching them to get these interceptions. What did he say? The ball's like air. He's got to breathe it in.
Yeah.
Here's what my closing statement is: if the Browns defense is a little bit worse this year, but if they're still a top 10 to 12 defense, and the Browns offense can average 24 points a game, they will win a lot more games than they did with Myles Garrett the last 2 years.
That's
fair.
Yeah, that's fair. And then
I don't think
capital on top of it.
I don't think replacing Myles Garrett with Jared Verse is going to take the Browns defense from, first of all, they were front runners, but a top 5 defense to a bottom 5 defense. We're just losing Myles Garrett. We're not going to go from top 5 to bottom 5. We still have a very good player in Jared Verse coming back. We still have good corners. We still have defensive rookie of the year in Carson Schlesinger. Like, there are players on this defense still. So I don't think the fall off is going to be that insane. I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah, let them get through OTAs. Let them get through training or mini camp, and let's see where the chips fall, man. Like, it's still the beginning of the season. Let them develop into something. They're still laying the foundation down. Like, the defense is laying their terminology down. The offense has got to get it going. Like, we got 5 new offensive linemen. Let's see what they turn into.
Yeah, and I'd like we've been saying here. I mean, if the deal had been Myles Garrett for 2 first-round picks, or Myles Garrett for a first and Jared Verse. I just said, give me the Jared Verse deal all freaking day long. Give me the proven young stud who I know is going to be. And the thing, like you keep saying, he's ascending. Like Jared Verse has other levels that he can reach in his NFL career. He's nowhere close to his prime, and he's already one of the best young edge rushers in the league. I'm happy with that.
Totally agree. All right. Well, let's wrap this thing up. We appreciate you guys being here for this. Some might call it a therapy session. Some people call it a copium session. Just
so much cope.
Whatever it was. I think the Browns are in a good spot for the future. Obviously, sucks losing Myles, but I think they made a good move for down the road, and I'm excited to see how it pans out. So again, we appreciate you guys being here, and we'll see you guys later this week.
Let's go Browns.
It's in our blood, it's in our bones, orange and brown, yeah, we ride for our own like a dog pack running. We ain't alone, game day comes, get ready for the show. It's our call, it's our bark, it's our song. We stand tall, yeah, we've been here all along. Through it all, the dog pound standing strong. We all dogs, yeah, we all dogs. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Follow us on social media at the Dogs Podcast. And join our dog pack community at jointhedogs.com. We are dogs!
This episode is sponsored by ISSA. Browns fans, if you're into health and fitness, have you ever wondered how you could maybe turn those hobbies and your passion into an actual career? If that sounds interesting to you, then ISSA has the opportunity you've been looking for. ISSA is the International Sports Science Association, and they can help you become a certified personal trainer in as little as 3 months. And right now you can get $100 off your certification when you sign up through our link, joinissa.com/dogs, DAWGS. Now, certifications are 100% online, self-study, and self-paced. You can study anywhere from your phone, tablet, or computer. And the final exam is open note, open book, aka piece of cake. Except you fitness nuts probably don't eat a ton of cake, so let's just call it a piece of delicious protein bar. And ISSA has the #1 job guarantee in the industry. If you get certified and sign up to be a certified trainer with ISSA, you have a job guarantee or your money back. ISSA has over 10,000 gym partners that have over 73,000 open jobs for trainers right now. And you don't need a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. You just need your certification to qualify for these jobs. So what are you waiting for? With certification this simple, there's no excuse not to pursue your passion and become a certified personal trainer today. Get $100 off your certification at joinissa.com/dogs. You've wanted to make a change long enough. Now it's time to do something about it. That's joinissa.com/dogs for $100 off your personal trainer certification.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.